Freedom Global News.
Independent National Electoral Commission says it will conduct fair elections despite attacks. Traders lose as Naira rebounds to 703 Naira per dollar. Troops neutralize notorious bandit commander Dogwumi Kaswa in Kaduna State. And on the foreign scene, Ukraine forces enter Kherson after Russian retreat. Good evening, you listen to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Today is the 11th of November 2022, which is equivalent to the 16th of Rabiul Awwal 1444 after Hijri. Now the news in full. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, warned today of the threat of intensifying campaign violence just over 3 months before presidential and parliamentary elections. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu said that the agency had tracked 50 attacks across the country since campaigning began just over a month ago. The INEC chief said in a statement that the commission is worried that if no urgent and decisive steps are taken, the attacks will intensify as they approach the election date. INEC held an emergency meeting today, a day after 2 of its electoral offices were attacked and set on fire in the southwest. He said the political class plays perhaps the most crucial role in ensuring peaceful elections and must all rise to the occasion. Security will be a major election issue, with Nigeria's armed forces fighting jihadists in the northeast, armed bandits, militia in northwest and central states, and separatist agitators in the southeast. The election approaches as Africa's largest economy has been hit hard by the coronavirus pandemic, fallout from the war in Ukraine, and its worst flooding in a decade that has impacted food production. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission also rejected claims that it plans to abandon the transmission of polling units, results, and switch to the INEC result viewing portal. National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, said this today in Abuja. According to him, reports in a section of the media that INEC wanted to rig the 2023 general elections by abandoning the direct and real-time electronic uploads of the polling units results to the IREV portal by the registration area technical support staff is patently false. The Naira has appreciated and sustained its momentum at the parallel market, appreciating 703 Naira per dollar in Kano today. The development is compared to the 810 Naira to a dollar it traded on Wednesday. The Bureau de Change operators at Papa Fagi local government area of Kano, who spoke to newsmen today, quoted the buying rate of the greenback of 698 and the selling price at 703 per dollar, leaving the 5 Naira profit margin. The traders said there was moderation in demand for dollars by citizens. While speaking to Freedom Radio on the issue, Professor Ahmed Muhammad Tsoni from the Department of Economics, Bayero University, Kano, and their Director of Press sheds more light on the impact.
Nigeria very recently experienced appreciation of the value of Naira to the tune of about 16.3%. This is a very welcome development. We should be able to know that Nigeria is an import-dependent country. That is why whenever there is decrease in the value of our currency, very shortly and directly, there will be a negative impact in terms of increase in the cost of production and increase in the prices of goods and services. By that, with the appreciation of the value of Naira, the implication positive are going to be that the cost of production will now reduce. We will have a bit cheap imports in terms of raw materials, in terms of input, in terms of semi-capital and capital goods that we require for production in all the sectors of the country. So when there is that reduction in the cost of production, prices will go down. When the prices come down, then producers will be able to produce and sell cheaply. So generally, there will be the likelihood of reducing the inflation level.
It could be recalled that last week the naira weakened to almost 900 naira per dollar, pressured by the planned currency redesigned by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and the subsequent Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, clampdown on foreign exchange dealers. And on the sporting arena, the chairman of the local organizing committee of Al-Haji Ibrahim Galadima Football League, Engineer Suleiman Musa, says using a video assistant referee VAR in the tournament eases officiating challenges. Mamsan Uba has details of this and other sport updates.
The competition's chairman of Media and Publicity Committee, Ado Salisu, said Engineer Suleiman Musa revealed that the tournament has recorded a huge success in terms of organization, players, coach and fans, as well as security for the contribution and support. He explained that using video assistant referee, vanishing spread, referee communication gadget throughout the quarter-final matches increased the value of the competition. Engineer Musa, who doubles as the proprietor of Intertech Academy, said using technology, especially at local levels, is not a big deal, rather than a matter of commitment and determinations. In another update, President of the Nigeria Football Federation, Ibrahim Musa Gusau, praised Rivers United for standing strong to emerge as the only Nigerian team left in the CAF Confederation Cup, while consoling the Super Eagles and Bayelsa Queens as they recorded losses in their encounters against Costa Rica and Asfar FC respectively. The Queens lost by the odd goal to Asfar and will now play Simba Queens of Tanzania for the third place, while Asfar Battle Cup holds Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa in the final. Reacting to the Super Eagles 2-0 defeat against World Cup bound Costa Rica in San Jose in the early hours of Wednesday, Gusau challenged the coaching crew and the players to take hard lessons from the lose and commit to returning to winning ways henceforth. Meanwhile, Sadio Mane has been named in Teranga Senegal 26-man World Cup squad despite being down with injury. Senegal announced their official 26-man list today for the Qatar tournament, which will kick off on November 20, and the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations hero is among the players traveling to the Middle East. And on tennis, Great Britain pulled off a huge upset to reach the Billie Jean King Cup semi-finals for the first time in 40 years. Alicia Barnett and Olivia Nichols, who only made debut on the competition, won the double match that sealed a 3-0 win over Spain in Glasgow. Great Britain will now face Australia in the last four tomorrow. Muhammad Sani Uba, Freedom Radio.
The global news is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions, and watch us live on Freedom Radio Nigeria on Facebook.com. You can get the link to the page on our website, freedomradionig.com, or call us through this number, 082 444163. Welcome back. You're still listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. A notorious bandit commander, popularly called Dogo Mekasua, has been killed by security forces during a clearance operation in Chukun local government area of Kaduna State. The Commissioner of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, confirmed the development in a statement issued today in Kaduna. He said after an era of terror and evading security forces, Dogo Mekasua has met his end, adding that this action was made known in operational feedback from security agencies. He said Dogo Mekasua, also known as Dogo Million, led series of attacks and kidnappings of citizens on the Kaduna-Kachia Road and in communities within Chukun and Kajuru local government areas. The commissioner said Mekasua always dressed in green camouflage military fatigues and wielded an AK-47 rifle. He added that the bandit was one of the deadliest bandits who led other elements in terrorizing citizens. In another development, troops of Operation Forest Sanity have rescued some kidnapped victims in Zamfara State. According to a statement by Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Dang Madami, the troops who on Thursday were on fighting patrol to bandits' hideouts at the Marike village in Gumi local government area, also recovered some arms. General Madami explained that the troops encountered and engaged bandits in a firefight. He said that during the firefight, the terrorists abandoned their hideout with several fleeing with gunshot injuries. Troops exploited the general area and rescued 3 kidnapped victims, recovered 5 AK-47 rifles and 30 motorcycles, among other items. The Defense Headquarters spokesman further stated that the military high command has commended troops of Operation Forest Sanity and has encouraged the general public to avail troops with credible and timely information on criminal activities. On the foreign scene, Ukraine said its forces were entering the southern city of Kherson and held on important victory after Russia announced its troops. Moscow's pullout came hours after Russian strikes killed 7 people in Mykolaiv, a city near Kherson that Russian troops have battered for months. The defense ministry said on social media that Kherson is returning to Ukrainian control and units of the armed forces of Ukraine are entering the city. Yet it added that it's at attempts to oppose the armed forces of Ukraine will be stopped. Russia announced earlier that it had finished pulling back its troops, but the Kremlin insisted that Kherson of the Dnipro River was completed and not a single piece of military equipment and weapon was left on the right western bank. Ukraine's parliament published pictures of people to fall to Russian troops after President Vladimir Putin announced Moscow's special military operation in Ukraine, and it was the only regional capital his forces seized. And with this, we've come to the end of today's global news. But before we go, highlights of the major stories. Today, of the threat of intensifying campaign violence, just over 3 months before presidential and parliamentary elections. The Naira has appreciated and today. A notorious bandit commander, popularly called Dogo Maker. Another victory after Russia announced its troops had retreated from the only regional capital it has captured. Have a wonderful evening.